Well, we welcome you once again to our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast. We have spent several weeks together looking at the book of Proverbs and seeing all the different topics that the book of Proverbs addresses. And I trust those have been helpful in your spiritual life and in your understanding of the way the Lord wants you to live in wisdom. We're going to spend this week talking about matters of the heart. That is, as we look inside ourselves, the issue of the heart. And I want to address that. I want to kind of look at what Scripture has to say about it. But one of the areas where we usually connect the heart with an issue is that of marriage. We think of Valentine's Day, for example, and the hearts and the heart candy and the heart pictures and cards and all that related to a romantic type of love that is best given in marriage. So let's start out this week by looking at marriage. Not that that is everything concerning the heart, and it's much broader than romantic love by any means, or marriage, but that's where we'll start this week. And I'm going to read just a little bit from a book you probably know about and have read, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Ichabod Crane is an unusual character. He's quite spooked by the noises of the night, concerned about goblins and witches and so forth. But the book says this, it says, "Yet daylight put an end to all these evils, and he would have passed a pleasant life of it in despite of the devil and all his works, if his path had not been crossed by a being that causes more perplexity to mortal man than ghosts and goblins and the whole race of witches put together, and that was a woman." So the author of Sleepy Hollow apparently had an interesting view about women. And yet, love and marriage, man and wife, men and women, this has all been part of the life that God has put us here on earth to enjoy. And so as we think about marriage, I just want to look at a few things that are very different than what we might find in the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which gives this negative view of a man in falling in love with a woman. Instead, what does Scripture have to say about this? So let's take a look at a few things here, some qualities of a good marriage. We'll start with chapter 5 and verse 18 and see, first of all, that faithfulness is one of the key components of a good marriage. "Let your fountain be blessed and be glad in the wife of your youth." Now he's talking here in the context of possible immorality or infidelity and a young man who is starting to go down the wrong pathway. And what the remedy to that, or at least one of the remedies to that situation, is for him to be faithful to his wife, to his spouse. And remember, Solomon is writing to his son, and so he's using examples that would be applicable to the son's life. So we could turn this around to the other direction. If he was writing to his daughter, he would say it a little differently, but I think you get the point. So faithfulness is the hallmark of a good marriage. It's really a hallmark of any good relationship. It's a hallmark of the relationship that is good between us and God. But here in this case, he's telling this young man, be glad in the wife of your youth. Don't let your eyes and your mind and your heart stray in a wrong direction. Stay faithful to the one that the Lord has brought into your life. Another mark or quality is in chapter 10, verse 12 of love in marriage, and that is that a good marriage is made up of love and forgiveness. In 10:12, he says this, "Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all transgressions." Marriage puts us into a relationship where forgiveness is not uncommon, right? We have many opportunities to wrong one another and hurt one another. And if we become bitter and get our backs up and let these types of things stir up strife, as it says here, our life will be pretty miserable. Instead, we find that love covers all transgressions, that love and forgiveness is one of the key qualities of any good marriage and any good relationship. In chapter 14 and verse 19:14, he continues on with this, and he says in verse 14, he says, "House and wealth are an inheritance from fathers, but a wife who has insight is from the Lord." I think another quality here that he would be stressing is value your marital spouse. Value your wife in this case. And if you're a woman, value your husband. Many good things are given to us by God. Sometimes it could be wealth, it could be an inheritance, it could be many things. But a wife who has insight is from the Lord. That is a good wife. Value such a woman because it's a gift from God. And looked upon like that, that gives us a good foundation for a good marriage. So we started off the week by looking at marriage, some of the qualities that would give us a marriage that would honor God and bring us happiness. We'll look tomorrow at more general teachings concerning the heart itself. So I trust you can join us then.